Indiana News Desk is made possible in part by Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnerships with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber Internet Security Solutions and Voice in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Bunger and Robertson Attorneys at Law, utilizing 75 years of experience, knowledge, and resources to help individuals and families recover in personal injury matters. Information at lawbr.com. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana News Desk. Sober living homes are meant to help people struggling with addiction. Most of the ones in Bloomington are nonprofit, but one, Malibu House, is a for-profit enterprise that's receiving tax dollars and raising some red flags.
If anybody's ever comes up and asks us about that, I'm very clear about that we are a for-profit company.
With the bird flu impacting commercial flocks and egg prices, some are turning to raising their own chickens. But it's not as easy as it sounds.
It's very feasible. It is going to take some work. It's not something you can just go out, buy some birds, and tomorrow you have eggs in the house.
In Bloomington, a permit is also needed to raise chickens on your property. And Indiana University has turned to a familiar face to be the executive vice president and chancellor of its Bloomington campus. These stories and more right now on Indiana News Desk. Welcome to Indiana News Desk. I'm Joe Wren. Sober living homes are meant to help people who are recovering from addiction. Now, one such business in Bloomington opened its first house less than a year ago and has already started 4 more. WTIU looked into the organization and the people behind Malibu House. Benta Boutier joins us from the newsroom. Benta, how did this get your attention?
I did a story a few years back about the challenges finding housing when you have a felony. One of my sources for this story contacted me last month. He said he stayed at a Malibu house and had a negative experience, referencing crowded living conditions and fast growth. So I decided to look up Malibu House and learn more. The for-profit status, business owner going by 2 names, and his long record of arrests suggested there was more to learn. We spoke last week with Malibu co-founder Max Meckes.
Last spring, Max Meckes opened his first sober living house in Bloomington, less than 3 years after his last drug-related arrest. You won't find the name Max Meckes on many of his arrest or court records, though. His legal name is Kyle Shepard. Meckes says Max is a longtime nickname. He goes by a different last name now because of a falling out with his dad's family.
I do have a past. I've been in active addiction for a long time. And my past is what uniquely qualifies me to be so relevant in this field. That I have the experience, that I've been through what these people are going through now at Malibu House, that I'm able to share with them what, I can relate with them on the same field. I will tell you that since we started Malibu House, you won't find anything new.
Meckes' past still follows him. He's on probation until 2029 because of separate felony convictions. He has a pending case in Warwick County where police say he stole 51 bottles of alcohol and a tote from Walmart worth almost $1,700 in 2023. Offenses further back include an arrest for child neglect in 2015. Police records say he left 9 and 11-year-olds in a car alone at a Luke Bryan concert. And he was arrested in Alabama and Pennsylvania for selling stolen wristbands outside a concert.
I'm an easy target. My past is horrendous, right? I've been arrested all these times. I've done all kinds of stupid things. I'm easy to come at. But I'm doing what I can right now to try to help other people and take myself out of the equation.
But Meckes and his co-founder, Amanda Cecil Campbell, are in the equation. Malibu House calls itself a charity organization on Facebook. On several occasions, it has solicited donations of cash and merchandise on social media. Taxpayer money and financial support from Salvation Army have gone to supporting rent and bed fees for Malibu residents. But unlike addiction service providers in Bloomington such as Amethyst House and Courage to Change, Malibu House is a business, not a nonprofit. It's registered with the state as a domestic limited liability partnership. Its recently redesigned website does not disclose its business status.
If anybody's ever comes up and asks us about that, I'm very clear about that we are a for-profit company.
But Kristen Castro, Executive Ministries Director at Healing Hands, says she only learned last month that Malibu House was for profit. Finally, the head of Bloomington Salvation Army also says he first learned of Malibu's for-profit status last month. Anthony Grimes, vice president of the National Alliance for Recovery Residences, says groups such as Healing Hands and the Salvation Army should have understood much sooner about Malibu House's for-profit status.
I think it's something that should have been caught on the front end, so to speak. Because we had talked a little earlier about truth in advertising and marketing materials and these different things in the standards that become expectations that these organizations are measured by.
Malibu House opened 4 more houses over the last year. It rents them from Pendragon Properties. Based on property listings, it costs Malibu about $1,500 to $2,500 each for monthly rent. From that and a one-time bed fee, it can turn a profit. Mekis says his company's rapid growth is because he's addressing a community need.
I've put a lot of thought into this, and it's clear that this is God's favor.
Eric Wolf used to live in one of the Malibu House homes. He says overcrowding was a problem, with as many as 6 people in one bedroom and a bathroom that didn't work.
Just too many people in one place. And you're dealing with people who have mental problems and addiction problems, and you just shove them in a house with as many as it'll take.
The National Alliance for Recovery Residences says there should be at least 50 square feet per person in a bedroom. Mekis didn't respond to follow-up questions on overcrowding. He points to numerous successes involving recovering people with substance use issues. Grimes says certification and accountability are key to a successful sober living environment. Mekis does not have any formal training in addiction recovery, and Malibu House is not state certified. In Indiana, a facility doesn't need state certification unless it wants to be eligible for state support.
One of the things that we're able to do through professionalizing our space, is to really hold operators accountable to meeting the standards.
Wolf says Malibu House residents did uncompensated manual labor for the company, such as moving items into houses. Although Malibu House is for profit, Mekis says donations from nonprofits and manual labor from his residents are just part of the community.
This is how society should be, right? If we all help each other, if we're out there for the right reasons, this world could be such a better place. And that's what we're trying to do.
Thanks for your reporting on this, Bento. So what are your big takeaways from this story?
We've gathered that sober living is a relatively unregulated industry in Indiana. If you decide not to seek state support for your business, state inspections are performed if you apply for certification. But whether a facility is certified or not, you can file grievances on the FSSA website.
Okay, thanks, Bento. Well, Purdue Vice President David Reingold will be IU Bloomington's first campus chancellor in almost 20 years. As Ethan Sandwise reports, his appointment came 9 months after the university trustees announced the new position to allow President Pamela Whitten to step back from Bloomington.
An external search firm and an internal search committee were asked to find a candidate familiar with IU Bloomington. Reingold starts June 2nd, a decade after he left his position as dean of IU's O'Neill School for Public and Environmental Affairs. Reingold worked at IU Bloomington from 1997 to 2015. Since then, he's worked at Purdue as dean of its College of Liberal Arts.
When I left in 2015, I had a one-way ticket. I did not think there was a return trip.
Faculty were initially confused by the trustees' announcement about the new position, asking how it would differ from the provost and why a new leader was necessary. At a listening session with the search committee last fall, respondents pushed for an internal hire, saying they wanted somebody who could protect campus values.
I think it would be very misguided to kind of make us more similar to everyone else and give up exactly the things that we're so proud about and that makes us so strong and interesting. The problem with bringing in someone from the outside is that they don't have that history.
The chancellor will have to navigate a new political landscape. Recent laws passed in the state and federal executive orders have weakened universities. At a listening session with Reingold, one faculty member asked for his thoughts on a law passed last year allowing professors to have tenure revoked for not teaching multiple viewpoints in class. Despite many faculty testifying against the bill at the State House, Reingold defended the law.
I think it was designed to try and make sure public institutions neither became an echo chamber or a surveillance state. I think some people interpreted it as potentially sort of moving in a different direction on the surveillance state side. Although I have not seen any evidence.
Until now, the university's flagship Bloomington campus was the only one administered by a provost, rather than a chancellor. Under the new administrative structure, the provost's responsibilities will be limited to academic affairs, while the chancellor assumes leadership of all campus matters, including enrollment, research, and student life. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Ethan Sandweiss.
The heads of Indiana's universities are making their cases for more funding. Indiana University President Pamela Whitten laid out her request to the Senate Appropriations Committee Tuesday.
I want to acknowledge that we appreciate the scarce resources this year and what a challenge this will be. We still, of course, have priorities.
And those main priorities include renovations for Bloomington's biology building and labs. Whitten says IU already invested about $60 million into the project. The university also wants $5 million for the IU Police Department. And she asked for money to grow IU Innovates, a program that supports entrepreneurs. And now, more headlines from this week at the State House. Members of the Indiana Latino Democratic Caucus gathered at the State House Thursday to push back against a wave of anti-immigrant legislation. While most of the 20 bills they cite aren't moving forward, caucus members say the proposed measures are not Hoosier hospitality.
This is really not a question of legal and illegal. This is about the climate that we're creating here in Indiana.
5 of the measures flagged by the caucus are still moving forward in the legislature. Emergency medical service providers primarily transport patients to emergency departments, even if that isn't the most appropriate facility for care. That's because it's the only way they're able to receive reimbursement. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Abigail Ruman reports a House committee approved a bill that would change that.
The bill would allow EMS providers to bring patients to non-emergency facilities, including urgent care and mental health facilities. It would also require providers to establish protocols to determine the appropriate facility for each patient. Tony Murray is the president of the Professional Firefighters Union of Indiana. He was also a paramedic for 28 years. He says he would bring patients to the emergency room who just needed a mental health evaluation.
I would come back 6, 7, 8 hours later, and that patient is still there waiting for a consult. And just across the parking lot literally is a standalone mental health or addiction facility.
Murray says the bill would help patients get necessary care faster, address overcrowding in emergency departments, and help EMS providers. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Abigail Ruman.
The minimum pay for Indiana teachers could rise to $45,000 a year under a proposal that received support in the House Wednesday. The $5,000 a year increase is aimed at attracting and retaining teachers. Many state education leaders say they support higher teacher pay but are concerned about how districts will pay for salary increases without additional state funding.
I think we're putting the cart before the horse if we haven't given the funding for it and we're making it mandatory, and you have some school corporations that are just not thriving.
Secretary of Education Katie Jenner says the move would cost less than $500,000 for each public school district in the state except one, and some districts already have starting salaries greater than the proposed $45,000. And legislation allowing school board candidates to declare a political party are on the ballot, headed to the House floor for the second time this session. The House Elections Committee changed a Senate bill so that there's no mandate to declare a party and run in the primaries, but candidates still must choose a label for the general election ballot, either a political party, independent, or nonpartisan. Republican lawmakers have tried to make school board races partisan for years, but no such measure has ever come up for a vote by the full House. Coming up next on Indiana News Desk. With the bird flu impacting commercial flocks and egg prices, people are turning to raising their own chickens. And Monroe County Community Schools is looking for citizens to join a committee to study redistricting. Those stories and more right here on Indiana News Desk.
Asking tough questions to those in power.
Russia right now has you outmanned, outgunned. Is it time to think about a settlement?
As a newcomer to Congress, what did you make of the high degree of dysfunction within the Republican conference?
I always felt that it was broken.
And covering events as they unfold.
Opposition fighters have reached the suburbs of the capital, Damascus.
PBS NewsHour and PBS News Weekend, every night on PBS and streaming.
Welcome back to Indiana News Desk. We're joined now by Olivia Wilson for more headlines from around the state. Hi, Olivia.
Hi, Joe. Thank you. The Mooresville student accused of plotting a school shooting will undergo a psychological evaluation after all. Trinity Shockley appeared before Morgan County Superior Court Monday. Her lawyers agreed to the evaluation, but asked that the results not be used against her for now. The judge allowed the agreement and ordered a $1 million bond plus $500,000 in cash. Shockley faces a felony charges of conspiracy to commit murder and 2 counts of intimidation with a threat to commit terrorism. The Monroe County Sheriff's pay raise proposal has been tabled indefinitely by the County Council. Sheriff Ruben Marte had requested a $9,400 flat raise across the board for merit deputies, bringing the starting annual salary to just over $82,000. First-year deputies are currently paid just over $75,000. Council members say they must address potential property tax impacts before committing to a pay raise.
I also look forward to working with the Sheriff's Office and their collective bargaining unit in regards to how we can make this happen.
Officers of similar rank with the Bloomington Police Department make $87,550 a year. The city of Bloomington will ask the Indiana Supreme Court to review an appeals court ruling against the city on annexation. The case's constitutional challenge over petition waivers signed by property owners that prohibited them from challenging annexation in exchange for city services. A 2019 state law invalidated waivers for more than 15 years old, meaning those owners could challenge annexation. A circuit court ruled against the city last summer. An Indiana appeals court upheld that ruling. Indiana University has repatriated human remains to the Rapa Nui people of Easter Island. The university received the donated remains in the 1990s from a descendant of U.S. Admiral George Cook. He visited the islands in the late 19th century to collect stone sculptures for the IU Smithsonian. IU worked with Francisco Nahoy, a Catholic priest, for recovery and reparation. The city of Bloomington plans to add an additional traffic barriers on East 3rd Street next week. The new barriers will be installed between South Rose Avenue and South Indiana Avenue, and the separate streets designated bike lane from the rest of the street. The city says it wants to protect cyclists and prevent drivers from using the lane for drop-offs. IU Divestment Coalition members gathered outside the Monroe County Courthouse Tuesday as 2 protesters who were arrested for disorderly conduct appeared in court. Court records say Anna Sauka is charged with 2 counts and Cameron Tuggle 1 count of disorderly conduct for protesting a faculty meeting. Their court appearance follows the Saturday detainment by ICE of a Columbia University graduate student who was the leader of the university's pro-Palestine rallies.
We're certainly wary about the amount of repression, both nationally and on this campus. This campus and this administration has proven that they have no interest in safeguarding the rights of people protesting Palestine, and they have no regard for the issues that we're trying to bring to light.
Last year, Indiana State Police arrested 55 people protesting in Dunn Meadow against IU's financial ties to the war in Gaza for criminal trespass, although no charges were filed. And finally, the Monroe County Community School Corporation is looking for interested citizens to join a commission to study school redistricting. 5 meetings are planned during Wednesdays in April and May. Because each meeting will build upon input from previous meetings, MCCSC is asking that people who want to join the commission be able to attend them all. To join the commission, applicants can fill out a form on MCCSC's website. That's all for headlines. Back to you, Joe.
All right, thanks so much for being on the show. Appreciate it. Well, folks are looking for ways to save money as the bird flu continues to impact the price of eggs. In some cases, buying fresh eggs can be cheaper than going to the grocery. That's prompted some Hoosiers to consider getting their own chickens. As Clayton Baumgarth reports, there are a lot of things to consider before committing to a backyard flock. Among them is that it'll take a while to recoup your investment if you do.
Nikki Gessler considers the 13-acre plot she and her husband own near Gosport a homesteader's dream. Every day is a busy one and involves feeding cows, goats, ducks, chickens, dogs, a cat, and pigs, including the little piglet named Wapo.
I get up early and I milk my goat. I have a piglet that I'm taking care of too because he had some trouble with his litter mates. So I milk the goat, take the milk to him, give him his milk.
And along with their garden and beehives, they live off of things they grow in their yard. Gessler was raised on a farm similar to this one in northwestern Indiana. Her family primarily reared chickens when she was growing up.
Pretty much my whole life, my grandparents had chickens, and then our property was right next to theirs, so we had chickens. We probably had 100, 200 chickens between us. Why do we have that many? I don't remember.
The average price of a dozen eggs hit $5.42 last month. Sure, the Gesslers have heard about the soaring prices, but it hasn't directly affected them.
We haven't bought eggs since we moved here. Yeah. And in fact, right now, even it being early March, which is the hungry times, if the grocery stores close, we'd be fine.
And as Gessler says, with a little research and some area to put them, anyone can take on their own flock.
Learn it all. There's not much to learn. They're pretty easy. They're kind of the cats of the livestock. They can take care of themselves pretty well.
The Purdue Extension says there are other benefits as well, like the peace of mind of knowing exactly where your food is coming from.
You may have kids, and so this gives them a pet beyond a cat and a dog that they can interact with. They have some responsibilities for caring for those birds, collecting those eggs. So there are some other things like that that can be a benefit that we can't quantify from an economic perspective.
But getting to the point the Gesslers are at now with their flock takes time and money. You have to invest money to build a coop, purchase chickens, and buy feed. It's a lot of upfront costs, and it'll take a while for egg production to offset that investment.
It's very feasible. It is going to take some work. It's not something you can just go out, buy some birds, and tomorrow you have eggs in the house.
Then you need to consider local laws and ordinances. In Bloomington, anyone who wants to own chickens within the city limits needs a permit from the city's Animal Care and Control Department. Under law, owners must provide a shelter for the chickens and some sort of enclosure to keep them on the property. People also can't have more than 5 birds. There are also laws to consider at the state level if you want to sell your eggs.
You would need to contact the Indiana State Egg Board and ask them about what is the appropriate license that you would need to secure. It is not required, but I would strongly encourage you to reach out to the Board of Animal Health through their website and register your premise.
The biggest question, though, is about bird flu. The thing driving up the egg prices is also something that could affect your new flock. Karcher says it's a real risk you have to consider before going all in.
Small flock producers as well are being impacted. In fact, if you look at some of the numbers, I could argue that the small flock producers are probably impacted as much, if not a little bit more.
In fact, bird flu has made buying chicks a challenge. This time of year, you can usually find them in a variety of farm supply and hardware stores. But Bloomington Hardware sold out of its first batch of chicks within a week, and now the store is waiting for its next shipment to arrive. Karcher says there are delays getting chicks to the market because some hatcheries exist in bird flu containment zones and require extra testing before they can be sold.
We've had some hatcheries that have just made the decision at this point that they are going to wait until the containment zone has been lifted.
But for those ready to take on chickens themselves, Gessler says they'll find a fulfilling hobby.
Every day I come out here and check on them and make sure they're all right, give them what they need. My day revolves around them. So I really do care about them.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Clayton Baumgarth.
Since 2022, over 7 million birds in 18 Indiana counties have been lost to bird flu. That number includes both commercial and hobby flocks. The pairings for the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament pairings will be announced Sunday evening. But after losing Thursday to Oregon in the Big Ten tournament, the Indiana men are on the bubble. The Hoosier women are projected to be in the field as a 10 seed. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana News Desk is made possible in part by Mallard Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnerships with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber Internet Security Solutions and Voice in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Bunger & Robertson Attorneys at Law, utilizing 75 years of experience, knowledge, and resources to help individuals and families recover in personal injury matters. Information at lawbr.com. And by WTIU members. Thank you.